look back at my wedding pictures and everything, yes, she seemed happy, well put together, but when we were home alone, like Yanni, she was really sad. She was down, she wasn't helping much, you know, she tried her best to help, but at the same time, she wasn't herself.
You know, normally you would, families are happy, right? So I didn't see that in my mom. She wasn't like truly happy, and I didn't understand that. And I guess that's when it started. I was thinking about maybe there's something deeper there, but we still did not understand what was happening.
Every religious leader that she visited, majority, all of them, said that it had something to do with evil eye, it had something to do with, you know, sihr and all that, but that's it. And that she needed to get cured through that, to get the ruqya and through the Quran, and she should pray. She should consistently pray. And my mom, when she was good, she was praying, reading Surah Al-Baqarah almost every day. But when she was down and her mood was down, it was really hard. It was really hard for her to pray. It was really hard for her to read the Quran.
She wasn't just sad. Depression is not just sadness, right? She couldn't do anything. She didn't want to talk to anyone. She would isolate herself sometimes from her own kids. She would be in bed for days, and then randomly she will just be happy, but it wasn't like a healthy happy. It was more of like an extreme happiness where it wasn't still like a healthy behavior. And so we had that for for years. It was on and off, on and off.
But my mom thought that if she goes to CAMH or seeks help, that number one, that she will be in the hospital, completely in mental institute. And also the shame that the community that will bring. The stigma behind it, people isolating you, labeling you, and so on. So of course it's easier to avoid and believe that it's evil eye because you can deal with that.
We just thought she was just regular stress, or maybe she's just missing back home, going to Abu Dhabi. And we did that for a couple of years. She would go back to Abu Dhabi and stay there for a couple of months. And when she goes there, she's fine. But then it's just a timing. It had nothing to do with the location. Over there, she'll be really fine, and then she would go down, but then most of the time she'll be fine. And then she comes back here, and she goes like, I don't want to be in Canada anymore. I don't want to live here anymore.
And when we went to go get the help that she needed, we realized that she was really scared. And she didn't want to see the psychiatrist. She was so scared to see the psychiatrist. When she saw the psychiatrist, she was really, really, really scared. You know, she was terrified of the whole hospital.
She had I don't know if it's an episode or something. She's like, I don't want to be here anymore. No, just get me out of here. And so she went downstairs, and my friend was comforting her. So I told the doctor, hey, is it okay if I can talk to you? Because I don't want to miss this appointment. And so he asked questions like, tell me about your mother, what she went through in life. And he asked me specific questions about does she have suicidal thoughts? And I never knew. I'm like, no, she doesn't have suicidal thoughts. But who knew? Maybe she did, maybe she didn't, I don't know. I felt like it wasn't as helpful when we went there. And then he gave my mom prescription medicine. And he said, just take this and then come back after 2 months, a month and a half, to get more of it. So she started taking it, and she was back to herself again.
Not every medication is the right medication. You have to figure out which medication is the best for you, right? So for her, yes, I would say kind of worked a little bit. And just when it was working really well, it finished, and she didn't get the refill. And we didn't know it finished, you know, and that's why we do feel like we blame ourselves at the same time. You know, we were like, okay, why weren't we there to check that? But yeah.
Well, I was in my placement, and then after my placement, I went home. I took a little nap, and then when I woke up, I saw 20 missed calls, and I had no idea what was happening. And as soon as I woke up, that's when my husband came home, and he rushed home, and he was like, "Did you hear what happened?" And I'm like, "What?" And automatically I thought it was my dad, because he wasn't back home in Somalia. Anything could happen. I'm like, "What happened to my dad?" And he said, "No, it's not your dad, it's your mom."
The first call I answered, someone said to me, "Is it true that your mom killed herself?" Like immediately I just froze. I couldn't breathe, and I remember like it was I remember I blacked out. So I went to the hospital with waiting for answers, which we couldn't until hours later, 5 hours later, 4 hours later, and the doctor came to us to tell us that your mom is actually going to die tonight. And you know, we asked him, can we see her? He said no, she has to go through immediate surgery and so on. And then we said, would she how does she look like? And he was like, surprisingly, she's well, like she looks well. She has, of course, a lot of procedures to go through, but we don't think she's gonna make it. And I said, okay, can we just, as soon as you guys are done, please can you let us in? They said, we will let you in. And as soon as she finished her surgery, I was the first person to go to her, and I asked her, can you hear me? Wow. And the heart of the mother is just so sweet. So immediately when she heard me, she couldn't open her eyes. Tears came out of her eyes. And when I asked her, are you doing well? And she was like, yeah. She's nodding with her eyes closed. Sorry.
Just when we thought she was getting better, we got the bad news. The doctors, they normally do rounds in the ICU. They go to every patient and they talk about what's happening with every patient. And at that time, I was next to my mom, and they were doing their rounds. And I didn't understand what they were saying, but it was all bad. And then the doctor was like, are you her daughter? And like, yes. And she said, bring all your family members. And I was like, why? She was really nice. She helped me, and she's like, I don't think your mom's gonna make it.
I haven't seen anyone who died in front of me. And to be my mom, it was just sad. And all we can tell with how she was passing away, it was peaceful. But at the same time, all we could see is through the monitor. They told us as soon as her body temperature goes to that level, your mom is dying. And it was dropping and dropping and dropping. And, as soon as she passed away, all we heard was, I just heard the beep sound.
Yeah, it's difficult because had it been a regular death, it would have been maybe a little different. But having a loved one dying from suicide is different, because you start to play everything like, okay, what could I have done? I could have done this, I could have done that. For anyone who's going through mental illness, just be brave, keep fighting. You can do this, inshallah. I don't know what it's like. I don't know how it feels, but I know just how it feels from my mother. She went through that, and it wasn't easy seeing her like that. So if you're in my position, just try to help that person. Be there for them. Just listen to them, and listen with an open heart. Don't listen so you can rebuttal and say something back. Just listen to them and try your best to help.
People who have mental illness think that because of the taboo, that's it. Like, I'm crazy. Nobody believes me. No, I believe you. Those who went through this believe it. And I guarantee when you educate your family members about this by actually talking about what you're going through, that they will believe you. And if they don't believe you and there's no one supporting you, there is people out there who will believe you. You just need to get the right help. Seek the professional help. You're not alone in this, and it does exist. Mental illness does exist.